Good morning. Good morning, y'all. Happy Tuesday. We are live. Excited to bring week 5 of this AI job search to you all. If you are, I know it's going to take a few minutes to hit the interwebs, but if you tune in early, say hey, would love to hear from you. Just to know I'm not here by myself. All righty. Excited for this. We are week 5 of 8 going through this job search series. One thing that has really become evident through this job search series is really me not necessarily doing the activities, but more of just the prompts. And so I will, if you have missed the first 4 weeks, jump into the Torque Discord, torque.dev/Discord. And where is that? Right here. And if you jump into that and then go to, I just posted it yesterday. Yes, the Claude job search prompts. Check that out. But I have that in there for the whole series. And excited to have this back to you all this week. Excited to hang with y'all. Hopefully you're doing well. Just a little yap session before we get started. The Torque community team is about to go on an absolute tear. It's been relatively quiet. I know our dear friend Roxy is at Laracon right now. Torque is represented at Laracon. Also, just saw the announcement. Shout out to Aaron Francis. Aaron Francis is now heading up the VP of Marketing and Community for Laravel. Could not think of a better hire. I just texted him this morning, so I want to give Aaron his flowers. So super pumped about that. I'm sure he's going to make an announcement. So anyways, August is about to be crazy. So let me give you kind of a rundown of what's going on. What's going on, y'all? Good morning, Chris, Robert, Richie, Alushala. It's great to see y'all this morning. Hopefully I said your name right, Alushala. So August about to be crazy. So next week, it's crazy. It was next week. I haven't even booked my flight yet. I booked my flight yesterday. And I want to go ahead and announce it too. We're about to put it out on social, but I'm super excited. The Torque community has partnered. We are going into a partnership with Todd Lewis and All Things Open. This is something I'm extremely excited about. Todd Lewis is a dear friend of mine. He went to the University of South Carolina. He lives in Columbia, South Carolina, actually about 20 minutes from my home, from my where I grew up. And so Todd and I have been talking. One of the things that we're really focused on for Torque community building is the great state of North Carolina. And so I was like, you know what? Who do I know in North Carolina? And obviously I was like, oh, Todd. So really excited. We are going to be hosting 3 meetups that are Torque sponsored. And the first meetup is next week in Raleigh. It's at Bandwidth, August 5th. Your boy's going to be speaking. I'm going to give a little State of the Union on the tech industry. And then we are hosting a panel. We're kind of going to label it as kind of a job fair situation. People are going to come with jobs. They're going to be posting jobs. So it's a huge partnership. So basically we're getting newsletter placements in his newsletter. And then we're going to be hosting 3 Torque Randstad Digital meetups. And the first one is going to be in Raleigh, August 5th. It's going to be a job fair situation. People are going to be bringing jobs. We're going to have a huge whiteboard. We're going to be writing jobs. I'm going to be bringing jobs. It's going to be great. So if you are in the Raleigh-Durham area, you know friends in the Raleigh-Durham area, please tag them. It's going to be great. So extremely excited for this partnership and more partnerships to come. I mean, this is kind of a huge thing of what we do. We want to align with people and conferences and companies that really kind of embody this community first approach. And Todd and what he's built is great. Also, another thing too, I announced it on X this morning, going to announce it on LinkedIn today. Your boy is hosting for the 4th year in a row at Render ATL. So I'm invited back. The Render ATL team thinks I'm funny enough to host for 4 years in a row. So really excited about that. I'm going to be hosting. Also, we're giving away free tickets in the Torque community. I'm going to have that information this afternoon for you to go and claim your ticket for free. It's going to be great. So please keep an eye out for that. We're going to be blasting it across all socials as well. But really excited to be back at Render ATL for the 4th year. Actually, it's the 5th year, really, but the 4th year as a host. So again, shout out to Justin and the team for inviting me back. And then we're about to go on kind of another run. So we got Raleigh next week, August 5th. And then a week off. And then I'm going to be, well, actually not a week off. And I'm going to go right into Render ATL. And then we have a week off. And then we are going to be doing some activations for the Ronstadt Digital team in Bentonville and Sunnyvale. Me saying Bentonville, Arkansas, you can probably figure out the client. But we are going to be throwing some activations. It's actually a little bit of a tour, if we're being honest. It's going to be an entire week on the road. We're going to fly out. We're going to start our tour in Sunnyvale, 2 nights in Sunnyvale, 2 nights. So if you have friends out in Sunnyvale, would love to see them. And then one night we're flying back to Bentonville. And it's going to be a heck of a time. We're super excited. It's a really big endeavor we're throwing within the community team. So excited about that. So that's what's going on. And then we're off for like 2 weeks in September. And then we're going down to Buenos Aires, Argentina for Nerdella. That is the largest conference of the Nerdella ecosystem. For those of you, probably Taylor, that name sounds familiar. Yes, we were at Nerdella in Santiago, Chile. And so we are going to their Argentina location. There's 20,000 people are going to be at that conference. It's going to be a massive undertaking for our team. We're going to be getting a lot of our folks on the Torque team from LATAM coming out. It's going to be crazy. So basically August, September, October, and then October, I'm speaking at All Things Open. I'm giving a 3-hour workshop, to be honest with you, on a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, we're just going to be, it is going to be absolutely insane. So super excited. But everybody tune in. It's great to see you, Cindy, Amelia, Melanie, LinkedIn user. It's great to see y'all this morning. A few quick announcements. So again, as I was kind of yapping before all y'all tuned in, I do have the one pager. David, you're not late. You are right on time, big dog. I'm about to get into it. So if you have missed the previous 4 weeks, I would say the biggest thing is the prompts, right? I mean, I'm going to walk through this stuff. I'm going to share my screen again. But the reality of the situation is the prompts are the most important part. And so if you have missed those prompts, they are in the Torque Discord. Feel free to jump in. They are under the job search content section. And somebody's asking for a PDF, so I'll upload it as a PDF after this live. So definitely check that out. If you are not a part of the platform, please sign up. I will link it, but essentially platform.torque.dev. You get our newsletter, you get access to events, job opportunities, etc. So please definitely do that. What else we got going on? Also, kind of the unofficial sponsor of the show, Seek to Live. My buddy runs a organic, mold free coffee company in Nashville. His name's Caleb. He's great. I love his mission. If you use the code TDESTIN, you get 15% off. I would highly recommend it. I'm drinking it now. It's great. I mean, just came out with canned iced espresso as well. I need to try that out. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into it today. Again, this is week 5 of using AI to navigate your job search. I'm probably going to extend this series. The feedback on this series has been pretty tremendous. I've had a lot of great DMs saying this is great. This is exactly what I need. So probably going to expound on this a little bit more, probably ride this out a little bit. I'm starting to get a little bit more guests back on the show as well, just around the AI ecosystem. So yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to open up my project on Claude. Again, you can use whatever AI of choice, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever you use, you can use it. I think it's all very, very similar. So let me find this project here. Hold on real quick. Claude series. All right. So I'm going to go and share my screen here. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. See you, Ritu. Good morning. It's great to see you this morning. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I got to figure out how to do this. I'm going to do... All right, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this here. Um, all right, so I'm gonna pull up my Claude. So again, I have this all under a project for you guys to obviously kind of see and keep up with. And we've kind of walked through the prompts in these. So the first thing I'm going to go over today is I'm going to pick a real company, find a real recruiter, write outreach with Claude, and hit send on a stream. So I'm not really looking for a job, so I'm not going to send the message, but I want to go. So I actually want to find my hit list. So, hey, Claude, can you pull up the company hit list I created for my job search? So again, we created a company hit list. I don't know if it was in this project or not. It may not find it, but let's see. Let's see if it pulls up. So again, week 2, I believe, probably the most monumental part was it basically built a company hit list based off my background and who's hiring, right? So let's see here. I'm going to see if it created here. I don't think I created it in a project. I was kind of late to doing it in projects. So let's see if it pulls it up. If it doesn't pull up, we can just, we can kind of just find a company that would be similar to what I'm doing. Let's see. Found it. Here we go. All right. So this is it right here. Job search tracker. I'm going to open it. So we're going to share another screen. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, y'all? Let's see here. Is this like live coding? This is terrifying. Doing this live coding is like terrifying. All right. So it didn't pull up exactly what I wanted. Hold on. Let me go to my chat here. Let me see. Hold on. Can you find the Google sheet of company hit list I need to call for my job search? Let me see. Let me see if it finds it. Because the one it pulled up only had 2 companies on it. There was another one it created with like all these companies and tiered it out. Yeah. If you've missed the series, again, they're all on the torque.dev YouTube. Are these prompts possible with Grok? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're all you can use it across everything. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you've missed it, go to the Torque YouTube. I have it broken down. It's also on my podcast, Guidance Counselor 2.0, on the App Store. And again, the prompts are in the torque.dev Discord under the job search content channel. Hold on real quick, y'all. I'm trying to find this hit list so I can show you what it did. No, it's still only pulling up the one thing. All right, so yeah, all right, so let's do this here. So this is actually really good. So we're gonna go back to sharing my screen here. All right, so live coding with T Swift. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so right here, so it's pulling up my job search tracker that isn't fully on. So, but one thing it did here, I like this. If you want, I can build out a list. Give me your target profile. So I am looking. Again, I'm not looking for all Torque Ronstadt people watching. So I'm looking for a head of community or VP of community role, ideally at community first companies, either as their business, so like a Circle, or a talent platform, or what are some other company profiles, or a SaaS company that wants to build a community. All right, so let's see what it comes up with right here. And again, I kind of want to walk through this stuff just to show you just how good this is, right? So again, I said, hey, can you build me a hit list? They go, or I said, hey, can you find the company hit list? They're like, I can't find it. I don't know where it went to. So they were like, I'll build it out for you. So basically, I just said, hey, I'm looking for head of community, VP of community role, ideally a community first company, either as their business, like a Circle or a talent platform, or a SaaS company that wants to build community, right? So let's see what it comes up with here. It's kind of pulling everything. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to go create a DM, right? And this is why it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's literally just pulling the internet right now. I think this is what the craziest thing about using AI is just literally going through and just scrawling the internet about companies and looking for community, right? And I mean, the same can be applied if you're a data engineer and you want to go work at an AI company leveraging these technologies. Plug that stuff in there and see what AI spits out to you. And then let's see what it spits out here. All right, here we go. Taylor script. Yeah. All right. So talent platforms, closest analogy to BrainTrust, MirrorCore, never heard of them. A-Team, Contra, Arc.dev, and Della Turing, know about all them. Tier 2 SaaS, Wix Studio, posted a VP community in New York City before appointing it late in 2025. Proves a title and band exists there. Worth a check. I love that. Postman, Vercel, all run real developer communities. Community is the product. And it's obviously coming here. 2 places to work rather than guest. Community club, biggest gap, All right, cool. All right, so let's do this. So it gave me some good place to start from. So I'm going to go, let's go to BrainTrust, right? And again, I'm not going to message them, but I do want to give you a workflow here. So I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn. I'm going to share. I'm actually going to share my window here. Let's see here. Share screen. I'm going to share my window. Let's see here. All right, so we're going to go to, where's my LinkedIn at? Chrome tab, LinkedIn. All right, so we're going to go, all right, so y'all can see this. All right, cool. So we're going to go to BrainTrust. Right, that is not how you spell BrainTrust. Spelling is not my strong suit. All right, so BrainTrust right here, right? So again, what I did is I said, hey, come up with a hit list for me. BrainTrust came up with it, right? So what I'm going to do is then I'm going to go into people, right? And again, if you've seen my job search content right before I had my 3rd baby, I did not have the baby. My wife had the baby, but before I went on a paternity break. I went through a job search series on how to use LinkedIn to find a job. I went over specifically how to do this. So this is, again, kind of cut, copy, and paste, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look through here and see like who maybe I would, want to talk to, right? So I'm going to go, let's see here, people. Let's see here. Usually head of community sits under marketing, CEO, etc. Go to market. All right, so I'm gonna go. See here, global account executive, GTM. What I'm doing is kind of GTM right now. I'm trying to see. Here you go, chief brand officer. Right? Is he still there? He is not there anymore. All right, that's a problem. How do I? There's a way to see if people are actually working here. I think they went away with that. All right, so let's do GTM just because I know he's there. Old Nick. I don't know Nick. I don't know Nick at all. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my Claude again. And I'm going to run through this with you real quick. All right. So share screen, window, Claude. All right. So we're back at my search here. All right. So, okay. I want to reach out to Nick Bradley, who is GTM leader at BrainTrust. Can you, based off, I always say based off what you know about me, because again, Claude has, I work in Claude a lot. Based off what you know about me, how should I frame my DM to Nick? Let me know if you can read his LinkedIn profile. Of commonalities for the DM. All right, so let's see what it does here. And this is probably what I do if I was active on the job search. I would literally go like person by person. And again, I know it's tedious, but like, this is the type of stuff that really cuts through the noise. All right, so it said it failed to fetch. Hold on, let's see here. Let's see what it pulls up. Oh, Lindsay here. You go to My Network Connections, search with filters, input current company. All right, awesome. Let me do that right now while this is pulling. You go to network. Connections. All right. All right. So it says couldn't read the directly. LinkedIn blocks access. So he's a go-to-market leader. The real commonality, staffing origin story. That's great. Maxim is a healthcare staffing company. You came through Vaco. You're both agency people who went platform side. That's the warmest door almost nobody opens with. Love that. Love that. It's massive. Cross-border talent. Velocity Global is EOR and global management. Ron said digital is the same problem in a different angle. He knows why distributing is hard. The number Brain Trust says 2 million. Torque is 2 million. AI plus talent acquisition. Here's how to frame it. Nick is enterprise AE. He's not the person who hires head of community, so do not send him a job DM. Send him a peer DM. Love that. All right, so here's what I said. Nick, connecting because we've been running at the same problem from opposite ends. You came through Maxim, I came through Vaco. We both left agency side. The thing I keep coming up with, 80% of our platform not sourcing, change, blah, blah, blah. Would generally enjoy comparing some notes sometime, no agenda, right? I don't mind it. Lead with the gap. Hey, Nick, I like this. Saw you're screening 10,000 contributors a month through AIR. That's a serious intake number. Here's a question I'd have if I were you. How many come back for a second project? I've spent the last few years on the supply side of talent platform. I love this, right? Short connect note. Nick, both of us went from staffing on the platform side, you at Maxim and Velocity Global, me at Vaco, then Torque. I build the supply side of tech talent you're selling. Would like to compare notes on the marketplace problem. I actually like C the best, to be totally honest with you. Just because it's short to the point, it doesn't seem salesy. At the end of the day, people don't read. They just don't, right? Go to market. Do we need to configure Claude a special way to get integrations for this job hunt strategy? No, Judy. I'm working through some prompts. The prompts are in the Torque Discord, torque.dev/Discord. We can get in. I'm probably, after this 8-week series comes to a close, I'm probably going to add a few more weeks on how to use projects, how to use skills, what can you do there? But no, I don't think you need to configure Claude in a special way for this, but that's just me. Search with filters is next to the search bar. I love it. Lindsay coming in clutch right now in this live stream. Can Claude fetch details from LinkedIn? Nope, it does not look like it, but it does pull from the internet, which is good. All right, so I like that. Let's find a. Here, I'm gonna go. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close my screen here. Let's see here. I'm gonna share my LinkedIn again, and we're gonna kind of go about a different route here, right? So I'm gonna plug in again. So what I'm looking for, VP of Community. I'm actually just gonna do Head of Community. All right, see all results. Remember, again, like the search bar in LinkedIn is your friend, and a lot of people just don't use that, right? So like I plug that in, I can find groups, I can find people posting about, and then I can find more groups. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to jobs, right? Let's see here, head of community, Gradial. Gradial is looking for head of community. All right, so I'm gonna kind of run through Gradial real quick as an exercise. So this kind of goes back to week 1, week 2 here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to go to their website. Hold on, let me. I wonder what Apply does. All right, so Apply took me to their greenhouse job. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to Claude here. So what I did, y'all, is I went to the head of community job, and then I did apply, and it took me to the greenhouse job, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Claude here. All right. And then I'm going to plug in, hey, so I just found this job with this company. Based on what you know about me, do you think it's a good fit? All right. So again, this kind of, I'm kind of going back to week 2, week 3 here with this type of stuff, but I think it's important to like learn the workflows and ingrain it kind of into your system. So, again, pasted this role from Greenhouse into Claude, and I said, hey, based off what you know about me. And again, right, we've talked about this. Upload your resume to a project. Upload your notes to a project. Upload all your thoughts to a project. I mean, one thing I did yesterday, which is really cool, kind of a sidebar, is to create my content for today for X. I went on voice mode with Claude, and I asked it to interview me about community, and then to create a post for X. And it did that. So one thing you could do is literally just brain dump, like turn on the voice channel in Claude or Chat GPT or whatever, and just start talking to it. Talk about your background, talk like brain dump in it. So it saves all this information. So then you can have all this information for you when you're on your job search. Honestly, the company is great. The role is not a great fit for you. I'd put it around 55%. Love this. What generally matches pure 0 to 1, 3 graps, Seattle, 5 days a week in office. That ain't going to work. Wrong audience, markers, creative marketing technology CMOs. Your entire mode is tech talent. I could push back on that. I mean, I have done, we do some marketing creative stuff at Torque. And obviously I've been, pretty hands-on there. Scope, downgrade, hands-on role. Manage day-to-day operations, no team mentioned. I'm not really concerned about that. Most people are scaling 0 to 1. What I do pass. All right. So here's the deal. So what I'm going to say is, okay, so I get that, but I want to reach out to someone at Gradial to get more information. Can you find me any recruiters that work there and their emails? I'm going to try this out. This is not a part of the script, by the way. This is not part of the script. I'm literally just kind of working through this with you guys right now. Yes, Olushoa. Yes, if you go to the torque.dev YouTube, yep. Amelia just put it. Could also use Granola to brain dump. Yeah. I use Granola as well. A lot of my one-off calls I do to help people in the job search. I help them with that. Is what I do is when I talk to people who are actively looking for a job, I take my Granola notes and turn it into content. All right, so I'm not going to dig into personal email addresses. Okay, that's fine. What I found, Gradial's hiring a senior recruiter for themselves. Better Doors, a hiring manager. All right, so it's basically saying here that they're not going to give away information, so that's fine. So let's do this. Let's go back to Gradial here. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen on LinkedIn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work through here. So I'm going to go to Gradial. All right. I want to go to the company. All right. Then I'm going to go to people. All right. Let's scroll down here. All right. So co-founder. All right. Let's go to co-founder here. Head of strategy and business development. That could also be another guy too, Eric. Head of marketing. So I'm going to message Chelsea. I'm not going to actually message Chelsea. But what I'm going to do is be like, all right. Oh, she came from Vercel. That's funny. So if I'm reading between the lines here, people, she came from Vercel, right? So Claude told me I'm probably not a fit, but Chelsea came from Vercel. So kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take Chelsea's profile. And so I'm back in Claude. I'm not going to share it real quick. So I'm just going to say, hey, I want to create a targeted message to Chelsea, who is Gradial's head of marketing. Can you help me craft a DM? Here is her LinkedIn profile. Again, I know Claude can't scrape LinkedIn profiles, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to put it up here and see what it says. All right, so I'm going to go back while this is loading. I feel like I'm doing a workout here, just like all this back and forth. Hopefully it's not making you too dizzy. Can you see my screen? All right, so I'm asking Claude, why isn't it popping up? Did I break it? Did I break it? I think I broke it. Here we go. All right, so it obviously failed to fetch the LinkedIn like we've already went over. That's okay. But let's see what it comes up with here. Because it pulls from other backgrounds, right? I still want to paste the LinkedIn handle because it's still going to find her on other places, right? So let's see here. Read her public information. LinkedIn blocks me. Head of marketing, the community that matters. Vercel and MongoDB. She spent 2 years. Most community-led tech companies at tech. That's, yeah, absolutely. Second hook. It's better than the first. One thing to be honest about, you're in Tennessee. The role is 5 days in Seattle. Your own advice. Yes, that's actually great, Amelia. Yeah. I love that idea. Just download the profiles and PDF. 100% love that. All right, so here, so it came up with some messages, right? The Vercel Bridge, named the gap. Chelsea saw the head of community role, want to reach out directly rather than just apply. You spent years at Vercel and Mongo, so I'm not going to explain community-led growth to you. Love that. You already know what it looks like and when it works. I've spent the last few years running that playbook on the supply side of tech talent. 80% of our platform hires came through community rather than sourcing. The difference is the audience. Your ability for marketers, minor engineers. I'd be curious how much Vercel motion. I love it. It's a little wordy, right? Even just reading out loud, I'd probably just want to do short connect. Chelsea, we both been building the same thing for audiences. You did developer adoption of Vercel. I've been running community-led growth on the supply side tech platform. Saw ahead of blah, blah, blah. I like this better. I just like the short, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like these are super, super long. Do I think they could get a response? Absolutely. I just like the short. I think people are more open to send a short message. So, all right. So we went over. All right. So we went over recruiter DM. We went over. So we haven't gone over a cold email, but essentially it's the same thing. And then so cover letter. All right. So let's talk cover letter real fast here before we get into it. I'm gonna write a cover letter for this role. All right. So okay, I want to write a cover letter for this role. Make it 3 short paragraphs. One, why this company specifically. 2, why I'm the right fit for this role. 3, what I'd bring in the first 90 days. Plus call to action. Do not start with I am writing to express my interest. I love that. Interest. Make it sound like me, not a form letter. Love that, right? Again, I think that's incredibly important. I think the problem with AI, and I've definitely created some writing skills to make it sound like me. But again, and I think this is a great kind of segue to maybe another session I'll do is like, you can create a cover letter skill. So you can say, hey, here's the job description. Use my cover letter skill and create a cover letter, and you can make it like sound like you, and craft it. All right. So let's see here. Let's see what it does. And then we'll end here, y'all. We'll end here. We're already a little past the hour. All right, Chelsea. All right, so here it is. Chelsea, Gradial's asking for an entire profession to change how it works. You can't do that with ads. Professions change when practitioners teach each other in public on their own time, so community isn't channel for you. It's the adoption. I've built this 3 times from zero, most recently at Torque, where the community now sits at 2 million tech professionals and 80% of our platform hires, blah, blah, blah. I've run the unglamorous half, 94,000 newsletter subs, regional meetups, and in-person activations. First 30 days, I'd talk to 40 practitioners and 10 council prospects, find the people I evangelize Gradial without being asked by 60, blah, blah, blah. All right, so love this, right? Before you send it the application, ask what excites you most about AI. Explicitly warns that AI-generated answers get you disqualified. Write that one yourself, no assist. Same goes for a Passover for this letter. It doesn't mention relocation, your resume. So again, I love this, right? Again, I've talked about this a lot. Using AI, I think gets you 80% of the way there. And then what I would do if I was actually looking for a job, I would go in and kind of edit some of this to make it sound like me and then press send. So, all right. So that's everything today, y'all. We kind of went off the rails a little bit today. But I think it was good. Hopefully you got some value out of this. We went over Recruiter DM. We essentially went over a cold email too. We went over a cover letter. And then we also talked about how to find people, how to upload their profile, how to get, Amelia had a great call out here, download their profile on LinkedIn as a PDF, upload it, ask it to build commonalities, similarities in your DM and send it off. Again, you're probably, if you watch this now or in the future, you listen to this on the podcast, probably Taylor, this is just going to take a lot of time. This is the type of stuff that cuts through the noise, y'all. I think using AI in your job search like this, if you were to do this without AI, it would take forever. But AI will allow you, in my opinion, I think without AI, if you're trying to do this one by one, I think you maybe send 3 messages an hour. I think you're using AI, you will be able to send 20 messages in an hour, right? So again, you'll be able to cut through a lot more noise. Question from Chris, what sort of LinkedIn roles, contacts would you look for if you're a software engineer looking for a job? So this is a great question. I mean, this kind of gets into some general job search advice here. I would say you're going to have to do some digging on your own. I would also just ask AI, like, hey, so Chris, can you tell me like what type of engineer you are, data engineer, front-end engineer? Can you just give me some context and I'll keep yapping until you respond. But to me, I would say, hey, like for me, I would be like, all right, here's the deal. Like AI, I'm currently a backend engineer doing Java Spring, and I'm looking to get into full stack, mostly web dev. Yeah, so I would just ask, hey, what are the most common titles I need to look out for? What are the most common skill sets that need to be searched? That's what I would do. If I was a full stack engineer, mostly web dev, using whatever, I would plug that into AI. But can you give me some titles, the most common titles that I need to look for? And then what I would do, Chris, I would go back to week 2. I think it's week 2, building a company hit list, and go through that exercise. And it will build out companies that use your technologies and skill sets. And then you can start going through that. I probably will revisit that after this series is done because it's so impactful. So go back to week 2, Chris, and go through that exercise. That would be tremendous. Jason, we went over cold DMs, finding people on LinkedIn, and crafting an email or DM about their background. Now for sending these, are you doing emails, LinkedIn connection requests, or LinkedIn InMails? That's a great question. Lindsay, asking some killer questions today. I appreciate you. I think for me, I think the LinkedIn InMail feature, I don't know what it is, but it just feels yucky. And I've talked to hiring managers and other people in the industry, and they all agree with me. It just doesn't feel right. I would try to send as many LinkedIn connection requests with a note as you can. One of the prompts I would do on AI is try to keep this under 300 characters because I'm sending a LinkedIn note in a connection request. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if like you're allowed to send as many connection requests, I think, as you can with a note, it's the InMails that cost more money. But I think at the end of the day, I would still try to find emails. I think most people don't manage. I mean, I manage all of my DMs in one place. Shout out Beeper. I use Beeper for all of my, DM management. Most people aren't pretty on top of their LinkedIn DMs. So I would try to find their emails, but if you can't find it quickly, just send a DM on LinkedIn. Connection request notes require LinkedIn Premium. So I don't have LinkedIn Premium for some reason. They don't, but you're only allowed a certain amount. I think you're allowed 15 a week, up to 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 per month. No, that seems a little low, Chris. I think it's a little bit more than that. They capped on to 5 connection requests with a note. Can't remember how much for premium. Yeah. So again, for me, like, people are like, is premium worth it? I think so. I think if you're actively on the job search, spend that $70 a month or whatever it is. I think one of the hacks I saw, like, sign up for it and then cancel it and say it's too expensive, and then they give you like another month or 2 discounted. But I would recommend it. If I was actively on the job search and I did not have a job, I would get LinkedIn Premium just for the notes and for being able to see people who look at your profile. I think that's incredibly important. I can also send 2 months free. There you go. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Lindsay, I would love 2 months free. That would be great. I would love that. Anyways, yeah, Lindsay, hit up Lindsay for 2 months free. I love that. All right, y'all. Any other questions? This is good. I feel like this is really, really good. A lot of questions today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Next week, we're going to go over mock interviews on stream. So I'm going to see if I can go full voice mode and just have people walk through interviews. I've actually done this just for Torque and like just drilling me on what we're doing. It's almost like my second boss. And I literally have Claude go, I literally told Claude, hey, I need you to poke holes in everything I'm doing like you're a CMO. And then it just like runs through everything. So that's next week. Claude interviews you live. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait to do that. I'm going to try to test out, see if voice works, because in my opinion, I think the voice is going to be the biggest value add to that. All right, cool. All right, y'all. Share this. If you like this and found value out of it, share it with your community. Otherwise, jump in the torque.dev Discord and get these prompts. Otherwise, shoot me an email if you need me. Shoot me a DM if you need me. Lindsay is just LeBron James in this joint this morning, just giving out LinkedIn Premium and asking some great questions. So, Lindsay, I appreciate you. You guys have a great one, and we'll see y'all. Real quick. I actually have another one of these, believe it or not. Real quick, pause. Tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Central, another thing, Torque has partnered with the Technology Association of Georgia to do a bunch of like seminars and webinars. So I'm actually going to be kind of going over a lot of this stuff tomorrow as well. So it's going to be a little bit more focused on your resume and LinkedIn, which was like last week and the week before. So I'm going to be live on the Torque LinkedIn tomorrow. So 11:30 a.m. Central. So anyways, see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Have a great Tuesday. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.